Hi, Joel. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful today, and I can be seen today.
Yay!
Yay!
First time in a while, yes.
I am not a phantom. I am a real human.
So today we're talking about your Siberian ginseng.
Yes,
I'm really excited to learn more about it. Can you tell us a little bit about it, the main uses, and what it's good for?
definitely. Well,
Hmm.
Siberian ginseng it's not a true ginseng in the phrase most people will know because ginseng, air quotes here, is part of the family ginseng. And you have Panax ginseng, which is Asian ginseng, and then you have, for example, Panax ginseng, which is Korean, Chinese, etc. Then you also have another famous one is Panax quinquefolius, which is North American ginseng.
Okay.
And the reason that Siberian ginseng is still called ginseng, even though it's Eleutherococcus senticosus, so it's not in the same family, it has very similar properties. And the
Okay.
properties are what people care about. The nicest thing about Siberian ginseng when you compare it to true ginsengs are that true ginsengs in some people makes them get very flush and they'll get very hot and warms them, and sometimes it's a bit too much, whereby Siberian ginseng is more even keel in its effect.
Hmm.
So you don't have that big issue where some people go just, oh my God, it's too much, too much, too much. That doesn't happen with Siberian. And much like other ginsengs, it helps with physical performance, mental performance, it helps with energy, it helps with endurance, but its biggest single use by far is for
Hmm.
stress. What it does is it's in a classification of herbs called adaptogens. And what an adaptogen is, really simply put, is it helps your body handle and adapt to stress, both physical and mental. So, emotional stress, if you're stressed at work, stressed at home, stressed due to COVID, God
Hmm.
forbid all of us are right now,
Yes.
but also more subtle stresses. If you're stressed because you have an exam coming, or you're stressed because you have an interview at work or a big project, or for example, you're stressed because you're trying to lose weight. Siberian ginseng is not a cure. Don't get me wrong there. It is not a cure, but it helps your body adapt better to all of those. And the nice thing is, because it works on different pathways, it can also be used very effectively with other substances to help with stress. For example, B vitamins, which
Hmm.
are known for their helping with stress. Other adaptogens, for example, ashwagandha, or um, even something body mind things like yoga and meditation,
Mm. Yes.
because they all work differently, they can all work together. So it's like a 1 2 3 punch to get much better effect and much faster effect and better results by doing them together as opposed to separately. That's one big thing a lot of people forget when it comes to natural health,
Hmm.
because we've been born and bred, everyone who's around today, that you're supposed to take this one magic pill from your doctor and it resolves everything quickly with a ton of side effects, but it resolves everything quickly. Most people don't instantly think when they're talking natural products that you can mix things that are for the same purpose but work on different pathways and get better results. So, for example, if you're someone who is highly stressed, be it around Christmas or around interview time or any specific thing, even for women, for example, around a different time of the month,
Oh.
if you get stressed and it's predictable, it's
Hmm.
amazing to see the difference. Because what you can do is you can take a nice B complex vitamin. You can do a little bit of mind body work, maybe some yoga, even just some exercise, and at the same time do the Siberian ginseng, and you should see some effect. It's not going to be in a 30 seconds. Let's not kid ourselves here. But give yourself a little bit of time and you'll
Hmm.
actually be able to see it. A good story I have with this is a friend of mine who, I'm not going to say exactly, but let's say he's in his late 60s.
Okay.
Someone who's in multiple rec leagues for hockey. He's good, but he found that he was just, oh, it was getting to him after he's been doing this for 35 years, 40
Wow.
years. it was getting to him, and he noticed it, and it really upset him because he wasn't putting what he wanted on the ice. He started taking Siberian ginseng probably 2-3 years ago, and not just by itself. He also does exercises and other things, but he noticed a huge difference. He can now go out on the ice longer, better, and he doesn't stress about it as much. He's much more mellow, but still getting the results he wants.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So this actually supports the adrenals, I would imagine?
That's part of what it does. Part of
Mm-hmm.
what it does. The key actives in it are something called erythrosides. Now, the interesting thing is, much like some herbs, there are some herbs out there whereby they know exactly what works. They know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what works. For example, ginkgo biloba, they know exactly the components that work. So you standardize to it and you get a much more potent product. With Siberian ginseng, it's one of the ones where we can set marker compounds and look for them, but if you take those marker compounds, erythrosides, just by themselves, they don't do squiddle. You have to actually take the whole root. And
Okay.
we don't know exactly what in the root works, and we don't know, it may be a erythroside this and these other two things. We don't know yet. So you want to take the whole root. A lot of people still do it also as a tea. The tea isn't as effective just
Mm-hmm.
because you're not getting enough. But what you want to do is get a nice amount in whole powder or root powder, whole, etc., and take.
Okay. So yours are capsules and there's powder from the whole root inside?
Correct. I'll
Okay.
actually show it up to you.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully you
great.
guys can see that.
I can
Uh,
see that.
there we go. It's actually certified organic capsules.
Mm-hmm.
We we source. Part of the reason our company does certified organic is we're sticklers for clean. And in some herbs, depending on where they're grown in the world, if they're not certified organic, you just don't know how clean they are.
Yeah.
And Siberian ginseng is one of those ones. It's not grown commercially in North America. It's not grown commercially in Western Europe. It's almost all Eastern Europe and Asia. And when you're talking Eastern Europe and Asia, you want certified organic. It makes a huge difference in the quality level. You can see it, you can taste it. When we get the raw herb in, we can see the difference.
Hmm. It's very important to have that organic and quality assurance for sure.
Well, it makes a huge difference. And we do
Hmm.
actually manufacture this, like all of our products, right here in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. So we're still subject to all the Canadian rules and regulations for GMP. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the certified organic quality assurances from around the world, and at the same time, you get the supplement quality and the good manufacturing practices from Canada, which are the highest.
Excellent. Can I ask you who exactly would want to take this? I mean, yes, someone's stressed, but mm,
Well, the thing is, because it's not harsh, you
mhm,
could have almost anyone take it. To be quite honest,
okay,
I'll put my hand in the air and be honest. When I was in university, I used to take it around midterms and finals. I did
okay.
for years, and I I survived. I did
Okay.
well. We also hear from our clients, a lot of people take it as a daily preventative from just letting stress get to them. A
Mm,
lot of people do that. And because all of us are under such stress, even before this whole COVID, the new normal, whatever you want to call it,
yeah.
before that, a lot of us just fast paced, hectic lifestyle, the pressures of work, family, finances, it just, you're kind of a robot if it doesn't get to you.
Hmm.
And this just helps give you that little bit of a cushion, that little bit of a buffer. The other big use for it, and where it was actually found, most of the original research on it was in athletics. They found that because when you're starting athletics or you're doing elite athletics, both cases, you're
Hmm.
putting your body and your mind under intense stress. And they found that this helped a lot of elite athletes and people who are just starting to handle that and to perform better.
Hmm. Excellent. And can children take that as well?
I think that's pushing it. I would,
Yeah.
let's put it this way. I personally wouldn't suggest it to anyone under probably about 15 or 16.
Hmm.
The reason is there's just too much still happening in their body, too many things going on. It's a system I wouldn't monkey with when it
Hmm.
comes to that. However, once they're pretty much 3/4 of the way through puberty, in that 16-ish range, then there's no problem. They can benefit from it.
Excellent. Yeah, there's so many things going on, like hormonal things going on, and growth and all of those sorts of things.
Oh yeah.
Um, that being said, is there anyone who should avoid it? Any contraindications with other herbs or medications?
Not really. It's unlike, for example, ginsengs. You have to be very careful if you're taking any of the Asian ginsengs when it
Mm-hmm.
comes, for example, to blood sugar. There can be issues with that.
Oh.
It can play with that. Some people up, some people down. So you just don't play with that. With them also, you have to worry if you're someone who can get hot flushes, hot flashes, or someone whose temperature regulation just goes wonky.
Mm-hmm.
With Siberian, you don't have those issues. You don't.
Okay.
So unless you're someone who's actually allergic to it, you're pretty good to go.
Excellent. And with, I think with the ashwagandha, they say that it can help you sleep, but because it's an adaptogen as well, it can help you sleep if you take it at night, or you might want to take it in the morning if you want to sort of get that energy boost. Is Siberian ginseng a little bit like that, or?
Very similar. In some
Mm.
people, if you're stressed, and that's the reason you're staying up because your mind is racing. That's the phrase we
Mhm.
use in my family. When your mind is racing, you just can't stop thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll take the edge off, and it can let you go down a little. You have some people who use it, for example, in the morning instead of coffee. They'll
Hmm.
take a higher dose than you would at night, and you'll get an energy boost from it. But you're not going to get a jolt like you would with caffeine. If you're looking for that jolt, you won't have that. It's much more
Hmm.
of a gradual, and then it'll slowly come. But unlike caffeine that crashes,
Hmm.
Siberian will just go slower.
Nice.
So
So kind of
you won't have the
cruise.
massive crash. Yeah. Well, that's one of the big advantages to avoiding stimulants is
Hmm.
stimulants. Yeah, they have a rapid rise, but they also have a rapid fall. And normally the
Yes.
fall takes you lower than you started with before the rise. If you have things like adaptogens that give you energy naturally without stimulating you, the rise is slower, but it doesn't peak so much as curve and then slowly go down. And it'll normally take you to the point where you were when you started. It won't be lower than your originating point.
Excellent. So, do you have any, like, I know you shared a story with us earlier. Do you have any favorite examples, maybe within your family, people that take it, or
Well,
any client
I
testimonials?
pers- I personally take it
Hmm.
whenever, how do I put this delicately? Whenever my job gets to the point where there's just, instead of the normal 50 things going on, there's
Hmm.
75 or 90,
Hmm.
that's when I take it. My wife takes it on a regular basis because she's in a management position in a public institution, and it gets to be hairy some days.
I bet. I bet.
So
Absolutely.
she does it on a regular basis.
Hmm.
Um, as I said, I used to take it around exam time. That was my big use for it. Probably up until about 2 or 3 years ago, is I took it throughout my entire university career. Probably I'd start about 2 weeks before exams when I started doing the studying for them, and I would take it right through until exams were over and I was home.
Beautiful. I love that component too, that it really works on the body and the mind. So you get that for the athletes. Of course, it is physical and mental. I really
Yep.
like that. So, someone going through exams or going through testing or really doing a lot of mental work these days, that sounds fantastic. So,
Oh, definitely. And the nice thing is, much in the same way as it can be a component of a stress management program, it can
hmm.
also be a component of an energy program. And what I mean by that, for example, is we have one client just came to me. I remembered we have one client, for example, who does Siberian ginseng, horny goatweed,
Hmm.
and vitamin B12. And he does those three because when we first started talking to him, he was dragging his bum around everywhere. He just was not feeling energetic, and he didn't want to move it to anything that was harsh. He just wanted a program where he would have the building there, and then slowly coming down, and no one product was enough for him. So he
Hmm.
blended the three together. It was one we worked with him. He figured it out with us with some trial and error, but those three work well together for him.
That's excellent. And speaking of when to take it and taking different things along with it, combining it with things, when or what is the dosage like? So would you take 2 in the morning, maybe 2 at night, or 2 in the afternoon, or how many would
Well,
you?
you can. Well, first I'm actually going to read it. That
Okay.
way I can refresh my memory.
What's your suggested, professional dose?
It's the label says to take 2 to 3 capsules a day.
Okay.
And I'm a firm believer personally that for something like this, if you know, for example, that you're going to have a stressful morning, you do the dose beforehand. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to have a meeting at 9 a.m. at work and it's going to,
Mm-hmm.
I would take it ahead of time for that. I wouldn't stretch it out through the day. If you're looking for general stress, general energy, I would split it.
Okay.
So do 1 capsule, say in the morning. If you know you're going to have a heavier afternoon, do 2 in the afternoon, or if it's a regular afternoon, just 1 in the afternoon.
And what about those like afternoon, that afternoon slump at like 3 p.m.? You're like ready to go
Oh,
for
I
a
know
little
them quite well.
snooze.
I know them quite well. We call them the 2 o'clock blahs. And the reason we call it that is it's 2 o'clock's roughly the time that lunch has worn off,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at the clock and going, I have to be here. How long still?
Yes.
We figure it's around 2 o'clock. A
Mm-hmm.
good way to manage the 2 o'clock blahs is at when you're having lunch or when you finish lunch, pop 1 capsule, and after that, just through the next hour, hour and a half, just drink water or water with chlorophyll in it. You'll
Mm-hmm.
be surprised how much that actually helps.
Okay. And do you actually have to take those with food, or can it be on an empty stomach?
If you're someone who has a stomach that doesn't complain about it, you can
Mm-hmm.
take it on an empty stomach. I'm fortunate I can do that. I don't need to take anything with food, even if the directions say to. But if you're
Okay.
someone with a sensitive stomach, you're going to want to take it with some food. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing I would say is don't take it with anything with caffeine, because then you're going to see a combined effect of it's energizing with caffeine, and it might be a little too much for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is if you're trying to get the stress thing, the caffeine's going to counteract part of it.
Okay. Yeah. So that sort of dive down at the end, that little, yeah, we don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to mix it. Caffeine is one of those things that you don't want to mix with most things unless you truly intend to get the caffeine effect multiplied.
Hmm. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good thing for me. I'd be like climbing the walls.
Oh no, I am one of those people. Literally, I'm a morning person, so give me caffeine in the morning and I'm just bouncing all day.
Good to go.
Not a good idea. No, you do not want to see me on caffeine. That's not a good picture.
Any final information or any final words you'd like to say about the product?
Not really. The nice thing is there's a ton of good science over a long period of time
Mm,
that it's safe for people as long as you don't do something silly. And when I say something silly, inevitably there's always someone. We get phone calls like this all the time at our office. It's like, the bottle says to take 2 to 3. Is it okay if I take 30? No, it's not. Don't go nuts, because too much of something good is not something better.
I think people do get that sort of idea sometimes, like more is better, and yeah.
Yeah, I say that a lot to people, is just if the bottle says take 2 or 3, okay, occasionally you want to do 4, that's fine. But doing 15, 30, no, it's not going to help your stress that much doing that much more.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you may end up having an issue where your stomach truly rebels against you.
Oh, yeah, that would not be not be advisable for sure.
Yeah, it's a supplement, it's not supposed to be lunch.
Yes. We don't want that, that's for sure. 15 or 30, oh my goodness.
Well, we have people, you'd be surprised. We sell, as I'm saying, our chlorophyll. We sell our
Mhm.
chlorophyll. We sell it in 1 liter bottles at times.
Yeah.
And we've had people call and say, wow, I love the product. Is it okay if I drink it out of the bottle straight? It's like, yeah, you can drink it out of the bottle straight. That's fine, but still only take like 15 to 30 ml. Oh, no, I drank the whole bottle. What?
Wow.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
we have that a lot. some of our tinctures and our extracts, people do the same thing. For example, during the initial paranoia of COVID, we had someone who, I think they sent it to us by email. We sell golden seal root extract in a 50 ml bottle, and they want to know if they could take the whole bottle at once. No. That thing's like a month and a half supply.
Wow.
You don't do that all at once. It's like deciding to go out for donuts when you live in Thornhill or Richmond Hill, Ontario, and deciding to go to Miami.
Wow,
You don't
that's
go to Miami for donuts when you live in Ontario.
incredible. I would never imagine. I would never imagine, but I'm sure you hear all kinds of things from people.
Yeah, we have some doozies that occasionally have our customer service agents shaking their head or giggling afterwards after they hang up, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe someone asked that." It happens. Luckily, I'd say 90% of the calls are normal, or emails are things you'd expect, like, okay, I'm allergic to this. Is it okay if I take this? I just want to be careful. That's fine. Or I take this. Do I take these two things together, or should I avoid them? Those are our majority of our questions, but occasionally we get interesting ones.
Well, it's so great, Dan, to do these interviews, because you're educating people. Making sure
Always like that. Always like to educate.
Excellent. And where can we find the Siberian Ginseng?
Well, the Siberian Ginseng, it's available your local health food store. It's on Amazon. It's on our own company's website, which is purelynaturalstore.com. And you could also get it at Rexall across Canada. It is in Rexall pharmacies across Canada.
Excellent.
You just have to go to their supplement section, and it's the only organic line they have.
Wow.
It's it. That is the only organic line they have.
That's pretty something. That's good. Yeah. Excellent. So thank you so much.
As always, it's fun.
I love interviews with you. You just get so much information. My head is spinning.
Well, you can take Siberian Ginseng. It'll slow that down a little.
Down. Thank you so much, Joel.
Thank you. It is always my pleasure.
Excellent. Bye now.